Today on the Tom Kelly Show podcast is my friend Dominic Leonelli. Dominic is a hilarious comedian who might be the Buddy Hackett of podcast guests. That's a compliment.
I love that.
Is that
no,
okay?
Buddy,
good.
I love Buddy.
All right, let's start the show.
The Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
Here we go. Trigger warning. Spoiler alert. You are in for a hell of a show. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. This is the podcast that owns the midlife crisis. This is the podcast that refuses to niche down into individual themes and stuff like that. My name is Tom Kelly. I'm a comedian who has worked at The View, Good Morning America, Rachel Ray, Drew Barrymore. I could go through the list, but you're here probably because I have my friend comedian Dom Leonelli here. I don't know if Dom, you have a podcast now. I guess you're pushing.
Yes,
right?
I do.
What are you pushing? Tell them what you're pushing first. And get the plug out of the way.
All right, Dry Salami Podcast. It's everything you could think of. We talk about everything. It's me and a very funny comedian in New York, and we just we cover everything. I'm from Ohio. He's from the West Coast. We're both in New York. Different perspectives. I'm a little nuts.
You are nuts. No,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good way to put it because, and here's the way to describe Dom. I've known you, how long are you doing comedy now? 10 years?
Yeah.
So I've known Dom for the whole 10-year ride, and I remember when he was a cute, let me say it, a cute college kid, whatever the phrase is, a cute college kid, nice kid. And when I first met you, I'm like, geez, is this kid okay?
Right.
Okay? And through the years, actually, I probably am still saying that in a lot of ways. But what's fun about you is a lot of comics have had you on their podcasts and clips have gone viral, and your TikTok is amazing because there is just a character to you that I think is just starting to come out.
Thank you.
Or that you're just starting to capitalize on is a better way to say it.
I think so. I think I'm starting to become more myself finally out there.
So who are you? Actually, that's a good way to put it. Who are you and who is that character?
That character's a guy that just wants everybody's validation.
But I want validation too. But what's funny about you is you went viral for stories that for as long as I've known you, I don't think I know you well. I know Dom, Italian, Ohio, and then I go on my merry way.
Yeah.
Right? You have done a lot of drugs.
I mean, I experimented,
Yeah?
We could say that. Some prescribed.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, what's a good... So the people who listen to my podcast, it's a lot of, professionals and moms.
Okay.
I don't think that's you.
The people that need the drugs the most.
Okay. You're not doing drugs now anymore because you
No.
cleaned up because you're actually, this is the right way to say it because you went viral for telling a few I used to do drug stories.
Yeah.
And now you're a class act now. You're headlining at the clubs we've worked at together. I think you single-handedly, actually, this is the moment I fell in love with you, is LOL Comedy Club. When it was in Times Square,
Yeah.
the owner wasn't sure if he wanted to reopen. You needed work. And you went out into Times Square, which was a pit of zombies.
All right.
And I think I did one TikTok doing an outside show, and you were risking getting stabbed to get people into that club.
Yeah.
I think that sums up your love of comedy and how crazy I think you are.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, what's funny? Before all the pandemic, we used to go out and do stand-up outside anyway.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody did their little runs. So it was right around that time we were doing a lot in Washington Square Park. And then when the pandemic hit, it was actually easy. It was in Times Square, there was nothing to do.
Right.
So we got lucky. You stand out there, you hear about 20 no's, but before you know it, you get 7 people. We used to have the server we'd tell her, hold on, wait, when people would be ready to go. Because remember, it'd be freezing out.
It was freezing. It was around, you know what's funny? I think the first wave of the comeback was around March, right?
Yeah, I'd say it was, yeah. At one point, it was around Christmas, remember? We did do it around Christmas.
Okay, I definitely didn't do those.
Christmas Eve, I think we did.
You did an outside pandemic show around Christmas Eve?
Yeah, on Christmas Eve at midnight, I think.
See, that's a love of comedy I don't have.
One person, they were shaking.
Dude, and that's your commitment to
They want to turn the heater on.
You love comedy.
Yeah.
Is this what you always dreamed of?
Yeah, I always loved it, and I never really, I don't know if you had this, but I never really 150. Some of these guys come out and they're just gas pedal to the floor, and they're doing everything, hitting everybody up, posting everything. I've always loved it, but I used to wait. And I do it, but I would think at some point somebody's going to say, hey, Dom, you're ready now. Come up here. Come upstairs. Look, here's the best whiskey. We have gold lights. You made it. You're successful now. Here's TV. But then I realized at one point, around the pandemic, right before, this ain't happening. Nobody's coming to get me.
And then you start working harder?
As hard as I could. I was like, I got to get up.
Because I remember when I first met you, I felt like you were still having fun.
Yeah, I was. And I still am having fun. But
oh, no, you're so much more mature. There's a maturity to you
I see what you mean, yeah.
I felt like you were like a college kid who could have just as easily gone into a different profession when I first met you. And now I feel like you're a comic. You're doing this for a living. You're here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you feel like you're here or no?
Yeah, I feel like I'm here. I feel like it took me a long time to get good, though. It took me a long time to get that repetition on stage. Remember, LOL was competitive on 7th Ave. It was all killers. Not to say it's not now, but, bro, there was it was hard to get 5 minutes at the old one.
Okay, I'm going to respectfully disagree. Or, no, I don't know. It was killers or it was guys who became killers. I always felt like they're two different machines without talking too much about LOL for fear that Roy's listening and I won't work there again. But I think LOL, when it was in Times Square, it was so crowded. I never truly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There was just so much going on. I was afraid of dying in a fire there.
Right.
And it was packed.
You couldn't move.
Shows. And so I couldn't and because the shows were so packed, I couldn't stand in the back and enjoy anybody. And actually, here's the one thing we have in common. I'm sure I'm going to edit this podcast down heavy. But you and I doing LOL, it's kind of a comfortable space.
Yeah.
And you and I have had off-camera chats about how you're trying to get out of that space. What are you doing to get out of your comfortable, I could perform whenever the hell I want space? Because let's face it, if you and I wanted to work at LOL, we could do it for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Maybe, maybe not, but we may not make any money, but we could be there forever, and there'll be crowds. There will be that instant gratification. There will be that chance to grow as a comic, but no one's going to discover you there.
Right.
What are you doing to get yourself out of that cocoon?
That's why I'm really starting to go hard on social media. That's why I'm telling those drug stories.
Yeah.
The reason I cleaned up is sometimes I'll get a 15-year-old kid, I seen your mushroom store. I want to do shrooms. And I'll be like, no, you don't. Okay, it's a bad thing.
Well, actually, this is a crazy question because I don't want to push you down a road of come to the Tom Kelly show and tell Marianne from Jersey about your experience with mushrooms. But is it weird to have something you might be shy about, like a mushroom story or something you don't want your nephews and nieces and unborn children to do, to have that be a big hit? Or do you don't care?
I mean, I don't care so much. There is I feel like my nieces and nephews, they're...
They know better?
Yeah, they know better. They're smarter than I am. But
see, mine aren't. I am smarter than my nieces and nephews. And if they're listening, just let's own that together.
I think the whole thing, one thing is I like to be upfront, and be like, hey, this was me. I made a mistake. I just don't want to make it cool to do mushrooms, I guess. People might hate me for saying that, but it's I don't know. I want to lead somewhat by example.
Okay. So but I feel like what I love about your TikTok, and that's the one thing about the art of TikTok, is the TikTok captures the Dom that I thought might be great. The denim jackets, the subway back. You really are cool New York.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, how do you choose what stories to tell on TikTok and what's working for you on TikTok?
I'm just now realizing that now. Same thing that's working for me on the stage is working on TikTok. And I'll tell stories that are just about the funny. I used to think in my mind, you see other people go viral and they're like, oh, I got to do this crazy joke about people not having rights or something. That's not me. I'm more, this is funny. I just want to make you laugh, little stupid stuff. That's more me, that gut laugh, that silly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually getting a kick out of what I've been doing on TikTok the last couple of weeks, which is judging and being mean to 20-something-year-old women, which is not I that sounds worse than it is I can hear myself getting canceled. But like my first TikTok that went viral was me answering a dumb relationship question.
I think I've seen this one. Is this the one I've seen?
With the one with the pretty girl in the bikini talking about body.
Oh, yeah. With the girlfriend, which is genius advice, though.
It was, and now that's the problem now. And here's the funny part. Here's how I know that is like the perfect sandwich. You know, like, or that's like what they used to say about Reese's peanut butter cups. That is chocolate and peanut butter that came together. She was pretty. Her boyfriend's good looking. She perfectly delivered a stupid relationship question to her boyfriend that only had a few thousand hits before me, or a few hundred hits before me. I answered it with my hilarious joke, and the thing went viral. And now I know it's not all me because I did a second version of it with me telling the joke as stand-up and only 13,000 views.
Oh, but still 13,000.
Great. Yeah. So now the trick is, how do you keep building on this stuff? And what I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks is I've used stitching as an excuse to do stand-up again.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good. Get you writing.
Yeah, it's getting me writing. But I also find it really heartbreaking when I do a TikTok and it goes nowhere. Like I did one in bed this morning, and it only has 200 views, but I'm wondering, geez, is that really me? It was me lip syncing to, like right now the trend is, have you seen the Bonita? Do you feel Bonita? Have you seen that on your
No, but it's stuck in my head. That must be why. Maybe I didn't put two and two together.
There's one on TikTok right now where it'll be a girl all glammed up, and it's a clip from Family Guy, and it's like, do you feel Bonita? And then and then it's Brian the dog replies, yes, I feel Bonita. And then, of course, because you are Bonita.
Yeah.
It's something like that. And I did something with that, with me lying in bed, and it went nowhere. How do you get a drug addiction off of when a bit goes well on TikTok? And how does that compare to the drug addiction of a bit getting a laugh in person?
Oh, that's a good point. The one in person, it's over immediately, so it's a quick slice. But when you get that view, then you're stuck for 3 days with that addiction sitting on you because you're looking, bam, 10 more likes, 10 more follows.
Oh, and it's like, funny you say that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, I have felt this uneasiness since my TikTok went viral. Because there's the pressure to build on it again. Like there's like, all right, I got a 10 million view video. Where's my next one? And if I get 2 or 3 more 10 million views, the networks are going to start calling. Yeah. Hello, Colbert, I'm ready. And then I realized the second one did only, let's say, 50,000 views. And then now we're down to 20. Like the ride up was quick and the ride down has been slow. And to your point, what's the difference between doing that and a killer show in front of 10,000 people is the stage is in my pocket all the time. And that's making me feel icky. Like I could check, like right now I'm having a meaningful conversation with you and our viewers and listeners. And part of me wants to see, well, did the views go up? I have to post one. I have to post one. And I'm also noticing what's driving me crazy is, and it's not driving me crazy, but it is part of my processing this process is, one, I wonder if China is giving me hits to get me addicted. Like, does China give everybody, like the TikTok algorithm, do they give everybody one big hit to get them hooked? And then they let it go for a while and then just give you a hit? You know, like, are they doing this to keep you on the app rather than to help you promote your business?
That's a good question. I mean, the way I look at it is when you go back and look at other people's TikToks, unless they're deleting stuff, you'll see they might have 100 videos. Then most people only have 3 or 4 big videos. Like, if you go back and look, you'll see they may have had 3 or 4 big videos and maybe they posted 1,000. So I try to remind myself that. Then there's some people, like, I know a guy that does 7 a day. He's huge on TikTok. And he deletes 1. He said he'll do between 7 and 8 and delete 1 or 2 a day. Yeah. So when you're talking that hard, it's like...
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to compete that hard on TikTok. Or I don't know if that's... And I don't even mean that in a I don't feel like trying hard way. I just don't know if that's where to point my energy. You know? But then again, you and I do a comedy show. Like we're going to a show in Ryan, New York tonight. Let's say it's 300 people. They'll see you once. Hopefully they remember us. Maybe they won't. Who the hell knows? With a TikTok, you hope that the people will come back. I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like the energy is better spent than barking in Times Square.
Yeah. I mean, really, how much energy are you really spending on these things? Maybe 4 or 5 minutes of video. I need to do more of it myself. I do one a day, and I always notice, like, if I do two, one of them tanks. So maybe I'm like, I don't know. I do like one, and maybe I should do more. I don't know. I did 3 in a day, and the third one really tanked, like 7 views. So maybe everybody's TikTok's different, or maybe you got to train the algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
look, I'm going to be hard-headed. I'm putting out 7.
Now, kind of divergent here because you started on this a little bit ago. You and I are performing at the same room full of tourists. You getting any after the shows without getting yourself in trouble or anything like that? No.
I have a cool story of how I met my girlfriend, who I'm currently dating.
Well, there you go. I thought you were single. Got it. Okay. We are going to edit this podcast hard.
Actually, it is a cool story, though.
Did you meet her at a club?
No. So I guess it has nothing to do with comedy. It was during the pandemic, though, and I was mounting TVs, and I mounted a TV at her house. That's how
Okay. That's, by the way, it took me a second to realize you meant hanging TVs. I thought you were actually effing TVs, or that was some sort of like mounting transvestites. I did not know.
Yeah, a little slang.
So you met her while doing work in her home.
Yeah.
So
And
you
it was
really are the real version of the pizza delivery boy.
I'm the real pizza delivery guy.
Did you hook up while mounting the TV?
Second time, I mounted it wrong, so I had to come back. I told her I didn't have the screw. I was like, yeah, I got.
Oh my God, there's so much double entendre in this story.
I should tell this on stage.
Dude, yeah, like you tried to, you went to mount her TV, but you didn't have the screw. There's double entendre in this.
Yeah. With girls in clubs, one thing, a rule of mine is if I was single, except for, LOL doesn't. Let's be honest.
It's a different planet.
It's a different planet. It's in and out. But at a regular club, I think, like, we say regular club, but, like, I have respect for these other clubs that respect themselves. So, like, I wouldn't go to another club and hook up with an audience member because maybe it's from doing so much working for bigger companies now. I know I'm tied to the company. Like, they could sue that club if something went wrong, Yeah. Since I've been tied to, like, cruise ships and some corporate stuff where there's big money paychecks attached.
Oh, God, that's right. On the cruises, too. You can't do it.
Yeah, and it actually wised me up. Like, go down the street, meet a girl at the bar, maybe become friends with her, but leave and rate that night. I don't know.
No, I mean, and to your point, listen, I don't think I ever was a hookup king, even when I was younger and yeah, I don't think I ever was. To your point, I like the ethical way of planting the seed, and you could always call me back later. Like my rule about hooking up at the daytime shows, was they were always a daytime fan unless they came to see me do stand-up. And then they're my fan, and I would own it. Like, I would never hook up with somebody from Good Morning America, and because I felt like, but if they came to see me somewhere else perform, then I felt like it was a reset, and they were my fan.
Yeah, then it's a different situation.
Yeah. I like that, though. Like, so if you meet someone on a cruise, no, because you don't want to get fired from a cruise.
Right. And most of the time, they're from different states, but even like...
See, I like that. They go,
oh, yeah.
They're far away. I love a long-distance relationship.
They'd have to fly to New York or something.
Okay.
But no, like when I did West Side recently, and there was this girl, and I just straight told her, I was like, nah, so I'm working. I can't. She's like, let's go get a drink. I was just honest with her. I said, I can't do that. I'm working. I got another spot. I keep it short and easy, and I'm like, I got to run. Because I'm like, imagine you come walking out of a club, girl stumbling,
Oh, yeah. Well, then there's a drunk thing, too. I'll tell you one where I was a professional. I was opening for someone at Bananas in Jersey. And there was a girl who was just pretty and just everything. Everything was out. Boobs were out. So kind of like she was getting a little bit of attention. And then she was flirting with me. And I'm like, I'm going to look like a asshole for hooking up with her.
Yeah.
And then I actually told the person I was opening for, I'm like, who was a woman. I was open for a beautiful, woman. So I thought maybe I should be classier, me too, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, the woman said, yeah, I don't care if you sleep with my fans. I'm like, oh, that's great. Oh, then that's different. I would have slept with,
Yeah.
But I've also never opened for that woman again. So I don't know. But I would love to open for, well, let's put it like that. You're right. There's something about sleeping with your own fans rather than the club's customers or the show's fans or something like that.
Yeah. One time, a weird one that I had was actually a while ago. I left a club. I was on a road gig I did. I can't even remember where this was. Like, I want to say Kentucky or one of those wineries down in there in the Greenlands. And anyway, so this girl's there. She's real cool. And we go back to her place. This is years ago, though, too. But we go back, and she had her husband was living there. They were in an open relationship. Dude, I couldn't do it. I'm like, this is just so weird. And you could tell the dude didn't. He wasn't happy about it. He's on the couch. He's like, oh, you brought home another one, you know.
Wait, hang on. This is a story, dude. You're kind of being sheepish about this. Wait, you meet a girl.
Yeah.
You
And
go
I was
home
like
with the girl.
25.
And did you know that there would be a husband there?
No. Yeah, so we're unlocking the door, and she's like, oh, I'm in an open relationship.
As we're unlocking the door.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking her husband's on the couch. Apartment, like the door's right here. There's the living room. He's right there. He's watching sports, and he's just like, oh, bringing home another one, huh? And you could tell she's in an open relationship. Nobody's hooking up with her. He's the money guy. The house was pretty nice. Little white dog running around. He's like, again?
So it's funny with open relationships. Like, I have some people I know in my life who are legitimately poly, but the circle is controlled or there's an intelligence to it. I think in an open relationship, it's always one person wants to screw around and the other person doesn't feel like going through the paperwork of divorce.
Yeah, or maybe the other person just knows they can't get nobody. I think that's what it was in some situations. Like, they're like, hey, I still got a hot wife, twice a year I get to kiss her. It's all right.
Well, I don't know. Like, would I do an open relationship with, and then you start going, like, on paper, no.
You don't need to, Tom.
No,
Come on, you're a gent. Look at you.
Look
You
at
got
me.
the jacket.
I got a bedazzled jacket ready to go.
LA vibes.
LA vibe. So this is the question, though. Like I wouldn't do an open relationship. But now, if Gisele Bundchen, Tom Brady's ex said, well, I want to be in an open relationship, but if Brady comes back, I want to hook up with Brady from time to time. I'm like, well, maybe, I don't know. Like, suddenly you start getting into, I feel like one person in the open relationship is always like, whoever's open is out of the league of the other person who's the safety.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like it's an open relationship where it's always a hottie of some sort, whether it be financially or with looks, and the other one is the safety choice.
Yeah, there's some sort of scales teetering there. There's, with this, it was like, I think she just more or less wanted to hurt him. Something was wrong with her. She's sitting right in front of him. She's all telling me, like, she's openly talking about what she wants to do. Oh, and I'm going to wear my outfit for you. She's telling him, are you sure you don't want to watch? And you could see he's just getting madder and madder. Dude, there's rifles up. Dude, we're in the green.
Actually, now, this is a great question. So here you are. You're in the middle of this open relationship experience. The guy is there.
Yeah, kid running around.
Oh,
Yep.
How could you even maintain the interest?
Yep, kid was like 11 or 12. My height, too. He's like, yo, what's up, man? Yeah.
Wait, he was old enough to go, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, he shook my hand, voice all deep. His dad was big, too.
And you weren't afraid of getting hurt? Dad and the...
I was, dude, I seen the shotguns.
You're not just banging one guy's wife. You're also banging another kid's mom at the same time. You're not worried about dad and mom or dad and the kid teaming up on you?
I know before we went in the room, she turned the TV up real loud. I was just like,
so you still went through with this?
Yeah, well, we went after about an hour and a half. We played chess, and then we went.
Wait, you played chess?
Yeah, dude, I was trying to get out of there.
Chess, literally and figuratively here.
Yeah.
Wait, there's so much in this story that I am like not hitting high energy here. Okay, so you meet a woman. Let's do the whole story over again for your TikTok and my podcast here.
Yeah.
You meet a girl doing comedy or just at a vineyard hanging out.
Yeah.
Comedy at a vineyard. Okay.
Yeah.
She says, you want to come back to my place. Mm-hmm. Okay. You get in her car, your car.
Her car.
Her car. She's sober enough to drive, you think. Gotcha. Pause. Good. She's driving. You have a drink or two in you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're relaxed, whatever, without going crazy. You get to her house. She turns the key. She says, hey, by the way, as she's opening the door, I'm in an open relationship. It's like by the way.
Yeah. It's like, hey, just so you know, I'm married. I'm in open. I was like, well, then why are we coming here? She's like, well, it's open. And then she opens up the door. And the dude's sitting right there. I thought it was her dad at first for like the first 20 minutes.
So older guy.
Yeah, older guy.
So older guy, he's watching TV. just for fun. Do you know what he's watching? Do you remember?
Football. It was a football season. Yeah, he was into it too.
Okay, so he's into the game, and but you're still into banging his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, she was hot. It was a little bit of a weird thing. Then the kids all, come on, you want to play chess?
But you played chess with the kid, not with the...
She had 2 kids.
How old are these kids?
The one that was my size was 12. Clearly different dads. One kinked up red hair, The girl's been out here, She's been on a mission. Baby, there was also a baby crib. I don't know what that was about. I didn't see no children that young. Then there was the 14-year-old. He said, "What's up, man?"
And you saw guns in the room too.
Rifles, shotguns, deer heads hanging.
And yet you still have enough testosterone in you that you still want to hook up with their mom.
That's the problem with being a man.
I'm not that much of a man. I have never been like. Here's what I love about every time I hang out with you is I know you and I are living different lives. We really are. So you play chess with the 15-year-old son?
No, the young one. Yeah, he was maybe, I don't know how old he was, 9 or something.
Okay.
He was young.
So you played chess with a 9-year-old. You shook hands with a manly 12-year-old.
Yeah.
The husband is sitting watching TV not far from the gun rack.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we will call her back in a minute. And then big ending is you go in, and after all of these experiences, the buzz from the wine has to be wearing off, right?
It is.
And you still want to do this?
Well, I was in the room. I was in kind of deep. Plus, she was my ride. There was I was in Kentucky. I don't know where to,
Yeah, no, and is this before Uber or?
Yeah, this is like 10 years ago. I didn't even start Uber till about 4 or 5 years ago. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you don't have a life raft out?
No.
So you're like, I need to have sex to save my life and get home.
And we didn't. I ended up went to sleep. It was weird. It was a weird situation. And then her youngest son kept coming in the room. It was he's like, Mommy, you wet the bed too? We were messing around.
Oh my God.
Yeah. After that, I was like, what am I doing with my life?
And you know what? I think that's the note with the third person we're supposed to ride with. What are we doing with our lives? Folks, listen, what's the name of the podcast again, Dom? Your new podcast?
Salami Podcast.
And I'm going to have that link and Dom's Instagram and especially his TikTok where you can get gems just like that last one, all in the show notes at TomKellyShow.com. And you know the rules, people. Show love where love can be shown. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a little comment. Leave a little emoji, a little prayer emoji for Dom would work right now. And then obviously, man, share the podcast with a friend. Share the podcast on your own socials, whatever it is. Those are big asks. So let me do some Magic Mirror time real quick. Magic Mirror. Who have I seen lately? Oh, you know who I haven't given a shout out to lately? BL on YouTube, who was commenting about the bad audio with the Steve Berger episode. I know I screwed up hitting record on this, and I'm still having trouble making the camera talk to these microphones. So I apologize for that. But until next time, folks, every Monday and Wednesday, there will be a new Tom Kelly show. Love you all. Good night, Kentucky.